Messages. We're live.
Good morning, everybody.
Good afternoon. It's Paul Bursey from SuccessCafe.tv. My co-presenter is
Warren Connolly from SuccessCafe.tv out of Hungary.
So we're buzzing at the moment. Don't ask me why. No particular reason. So today's let's get into today's subject, and it's ignite your inner fire. So, Warren, I'm going to give you opening gambit on this one.
Oh, you normally do though, Paul. So that's
you normally get off the wall. So
you like to take some of the tidbits that I give the audience to listen to, and then you like to use that to expand upon or something, and then come and ask me some questions.
Yeah,
that's good. Does it work?
That smacks of cheating though.
Because it works, but it works though. All right, so igniting your inner fire. Wow, I think if more of us knew how to ignite our inner fire, this world would be a much better place. And the reason being is because, as Paul and I were just talking about now, it's about taking action, and actually having a belief about something and then taking action on that. That really ignites your inner fire. Think about anything that you've done passionately in your life. Before you got married, your inner fire was definitely lit. If you've ever been married before you were doing an exam, you were in that moment passionate enough to want to complete and overcome that exam and pass it, that you got excited enough and nervous enough because you were terrified of the fact that you may not pass it. That is igniting your inner fire, even if it's for a moment or if it lasts for a lifetime. But that's pretty much where I see it and how I see it.
So that gives the impression that it can be extinguished.
Well, it can be. I mean, it has been. My inner fire has been lit throughout my life in different stages. But it can most definitely be extinguished.
Now, do you do that yourself, or sometimes can someone else do it for you?
No, well, okay, good question. But nobody else can do it for me. Only I can do it for me. That's how I see it. Only I'm the one that's responsible for it or not. The outcome.
Although sometimes we do get, especially in the case of relationships, sometimes you get a bit of help along the way.
Well, this is where love comes in. Love is that when you fall in love, it's different from an infatuation. An infatuation will definitely light your inner fire, but anybody will know that an infatuation, it can either be a healthy infatuation or an unhealthy infatuation. So therefore, it's always tainted. There's always two ways about it. But if you fall in love, there's only one way about it. You may fall in love in many different ways, but there's only one element of falling in love, and that is love, and there's nothing else. So it for 99% of people, it can never last forever. Some people, very few, they stay in love with an individual for their whole life, and that person's fire is lit for that entire relationship until the day they die. They have a fire lit up inside of them that lasts for a lifetime. But very few people manage to stay in love when it comes to a relationship, because it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of practice, it takes a lot of fighting, it takes a lot of push and pull, give and take. But if you can stay in love with somebody, it's that maintains that lit fire within inside of you. But
absolutely.
People will remain in love, but there's a difference between being in love and loving somebody. I think being in love is more of the fire, but loving somebody is different.
I love it when you see older people when people that are really, really getting on and look fantastic, and they're still in love, they're still holding hands. So I think it's brilliant. But anyway, we're talking about business, all right, or sport. You can relate it to that or anything else. But so I've got a question for you, and I want people to think about this. Are you a self-starter? Are you a go-getter? Because that's who we are looking for, and that's all I'll say for our business opportunity. But this is, this is really about you as a person. Are you one of these people that I say gets set on fire? That sounds terrible, doesn't it? But are you someone who, you're passionate about maybe your new project?
Are you a firelighter?
Yeah. Are you someone who can sustain it? Can you keep that candle burning, or does it flicker out after a short while? And that's what we're talking about here. All right. So, are you I've written a thing before called the persistent plodder, which is fantastic. If you're someone who can keep it going and keep the plates turning, that's brilliant. Or do you need a rocket? Up the old gazoo. We're all different. Now, some of us have had to have both. It depends where you are at that particular time. But the thing we want to avoid doing is quitting. I've got music in the background. Sorry.
Lucky you.
Yeah. So anyway. So basically, what we're doing, we want people, if they're going to take up marathon running, if they're going to start a business, then do it properly. Go all in, and find a way to light that fire within you and keep it going. Because at the end of the day, it's all about perseverance and commitment. It's no good. And anything I talk about, I've probably done it all, good or bad.
But you've done it somehow.
Warren, but there's no doubt about it. Look, to be able, you must be on fire to win. You must be on fire to win. Now, as I say, it could be that time where you're very, very consistent, with the right attitude all the time, a bit like a metronome, Or it could be that you start off like full of excitement and
like a bull in a china shop.
Yeah, and that's fine also. But it's what happens after that period of time that matters. You could be both those things. You could be someone who hits it from the first hour and does a fantastic job over the first few months. And then that's when the habits kick in, and they've got to be good habits. Okay. So,
and effective habits as well. Effective habits too.
Yeah.
Because otherwise the sustainability will never last.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if you're a real go-getter. I was actually working with somebody today for the first time, and I was doing a workout session with him. And this person is a go-getter. This individual is a high achiever. And if you look at his body, you can see it in his body, the way he moves and how his body is structured. And some people, they're not like that. They're more fluid, more flexible. They kind of go from here to there, but they keep going. They keep moving. But it's not at the same pace necessarily as a rigid go-getter.
Yeah.
So the beautiful thing about what we do, you and I, Paul, is it takes both. You get some people, they come on board and they are like a storm in the sea.
Right.
They're just, it's like a gale force wind, a force of nature that just takes over and is succeeding within months. Then you get like you say, the plodders, or the more consistent, but also consistent in terms of perpetual movement, like myself, who then it just keeps going, no matter what, just keeps going, no matter what, and my energy is lower in essence, but at the same time, I'm like that tortoise in the hare race. I mean, I can put some effort into it at some point from time to time, and I can really get my fire ignited. But for the most part, I know how to conserve my energy so that I'll last for longer. And this is the beauty of our industry.
Yeah, I think the challenge that some people have is that they jump in into the swimming pool. They don't have any problem getting going. It's just that they can't sustain it. And what what we would be looking for to work with, even in anything, is someone who can sustain. You know, because it's no good. It's like having eaten a bar of chocolate. Okay, it feels fantastic when you eat the bar of chocolate, assuming it's chocolate. Okay, but you get an energy spike. Okay, and at some stage you're going to come down from the energy spike. I'm sorry, it must be the same for if you drink alcohol. We feel great when we start drinking alcohol, but after a while, there comes a moment we stop, and things start to go downhill very rapidly. Where we start getting headaches, feel sick. Maybe you wake up with a hangover, you know. And or something, if I'm sure I've never taken any drugs, but I mean, drugs, they give you a tremendous high, I would imagine.
Drugs do, and then you get a horrible hangover afterwards.
And that's it. And then you can become addicted to things. Now, being addicted to things depends what it is. It does depend. I mean, look, the real high achievers, they would get to the level probably of obsession, a healthy obsession. Okay. But, you know, and you need that high level of energy to keep going. So now you know why we're in the health and wellness business. But no, but it's important that you know that we. Sorry, what I was going to. Sorry, I missed out. What I was going to say. Basically, what we can't work with lazy people. I can't stand being around lazy people. You know, I want. You know, you want work ethic. You want to be around people who inspire you, or at least impress you in some way. You know, we're not looking for anything false. You can't kid anyone here. You know, or if you're doing something, you can't kid. If you're doing running, if you're becoming a marathon runner, there's certain things you've got to do. You cannot cheat on it. Okay. Same goes with personal development. You know, and you can't hide. You can't con people into thinking that you're doing the right thing. Either you are or you aren't. And I have to say, there's periods in my life where I have been the person doing it, and I have been the person not doing it. There are no excuses at the end of the day, you know. So again, it's very, very important that you learn how to ignite this fire within yourself and make sure that it doesn't get extinguished. You know, how do you feel about that, Warren?
Something you touched on is towards the beginning of that section there, Paul, is that about lazy people and that. And I agree with you. Lazy people, they're not the ideal type of individual to work with. And at this stage in my career as well, and working with you, and that I'm a bit apprehensive about working with lazy people, because I've also been lazy in the past. However, if somebody is lazy and they want to know how not to be lazy, excuse the noise. If you hear noise in the background, it's my daughter almost dropping something. I do apologize. But
there's lots of noise. Don't apologize. I've got things in the background here as well. So
no, it's cool. Don't worry. It's fine.
Fight our way through it.
That's fine. So the thing is that, it's the lazy people that keep making excuses all the time. Those are the people that because I look at that, I look at that as choosing to be blissfully ignorant. If you're blissfully ignorant, you don't know any better. But if you choose to be blissfully ignorant, well, you know, and in saying that as well,
sorry,
it takes not a special kind of person, but it takes a different type of person to really have the desire to light their fire when they don't even really know what that looks like, when they're trying to explore themselves and grow in a business or something like that, and they want to start something new for themselves, and they just want to do better. They have a lot of that passion, that initial fire in the beginning, all right? And then it's a matter of, okay, well, now what do I do with this? So now, I have this fire. I want to create something. I want to do something with it. But what do I do with it now? Because they don't have the skill set necessarily or typically, and they just don't understand how to. They maybe have the knowledge, but they don't understand how to apply that knowledge as well. And then this this is where the fire gets ignited in people. Now, I've seen it happen before, where people get so excited about something, and then they literally get dropped in the middle of the ocean, like, and then they look around and they go, okay, now what? You know, and it's a matter of, well, okay, how am I supposed to keep my fire ignited when I'm just blobbing in the middle of the ocean? You know, sooner or later I'm going to become despondent, I'm going to become disillusioned, and I'm going to become delirious. All right, and then things are not going to start looking pear-shaped. So this is the other thing as well. You know, laziness can be on both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
You know, you can work with a lazy person, or you can be working with you can be that lazy person. And this is another thing about it, is that, you know, so many people, they talk about performance and action and productivity and everything like that, but in the same breath, where's that fire coming from? Where is that fire that's telling you that? Then it becomes like a preacher on a pulpit, as opposed to like somebody holding you, taking you side by side and showing you what it looks like to have that fire within you burning, show you step by step how to light that fire, because most people just don't know how to do it. You know, and then this is why they become lazy, because they just become disillusioned, and they choose to be blissfully ignorant about things, and they just put their head in the sand, like the ostrich effect, and they let life carry on around them. And unfortunately, I've seen it happen too many times for too many people.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I just to let you know, if you hear any noises coming from mine, there's a party going on in the background. You know, I think it's next door, so it's very noisy. So look, at the end of the story, you know, we work with real people, and real people do have challenges and problems and obstacles and hurdles they have to overcome. But the key is to recognize that you have these challenges and overcome them. You know, so you know, how do you get through a brick wall? You can either go through it, you can go over it, you can go under it, around it, or get someone to demolish it for you. Yeah. So in other words, coaching, help, you know, communication. Yeah. So if you're one of these people that start a business or whatever your venture is, your project, like a cheetah, which is the fastest land animal, you know, that, I mean, that's fantastic, but you can't keep that speed up. There's going to be times when you're going to have to back off slightly and be consistent, and maybe a consistent, you know, a slow burner. You know, you're going to have to, there's going to be periods of time when you're going to inject that pace into the business. Maybe it's a 30-day blast, maybe it's a 90-day blast. And
sometimes these people are considered as being lazy as well. I don't mean to keep on touching on it, but I'm just letting people know that, you know, folks that are listening, that it's okay. You understand? If that sounds like you, it's okay, because as long as you want to get better and you want to improve, then it's okay. And it's often people look at it from the outside and they see a slow burner and they think that person's being lazy.
Yeah.
They're not. You know, that silent assassin. You know, they're the one that just stays quiet all the time until one day they slowly pass you by, and before you realize it, you're looking up at them and they're sitting up over here doing whatever. But that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think that I liken it to if anyone likes athletics here, I do. I love it. And think about Usain Bolt. Now, it's fast, explosive, and over in around about between 9 and 10 seconds. Sometimes, if they're lucky, you know, can get. I don't know what the world record is, but
closer to 9 seconds.
Is it 8 something? I don't know. I can't remember. I can't remember what the world record is. But I think it's 8:71 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. You're right.
Okay, let's call it 10 seconds just for argument's sake. So it's explosive, it's exciting, but he hits the tape at the end, the finishing post. Okay. Or are you someone like Mo Farah, all right, who I know he's stopped doing the 5,000 and 10,000 meters now, but he would be able to run slow or run fast, any pace that you would like over during the race. And the whole idea is to wind up for the last 1 or 2 laps, so that by the time you go over the finishing post, you're the first person, you know, in you're number one. You got the gold medal, and and you can look at Usain Bolt, you can look at Mo Farah, and you can see similarities, but they're also extremely different as well. Right, and that's what do you got to do with business? You've got to roll with the punches. There's going to be ups and downs, and you just have to go with it. Okay, you may, if you're in sales, you may speak to 20 people in a row and not get any results. It doesn't matter as long as you do it with the right attitude. As long as you know how to deal with disappointment, the 21st or 22nd is going to be, it's going to be fine. We just don't know when you just don't know when it's going to be. So the attitude, again, go back to the start. I said it's all about attitude and action. Okay, your attitude has to be spot on. You're going to have little down periods. We all do. It's a part of life. You just got to move on from it because it will go.
I've seen leaders in our industry make good leaders, so they're making good income. They have a great business. And then they stop producing because not that they take their foot off the pedal, because you need to do that from time to time, as you mentioned, but they become complacent and they become lazy, and they're no longer taking as much action as their attitude changes because of that.
Yeah.
It's all up here, and then they try to get back into the game again, and they struggle because the attitude hasn't changed. They're coming now from a place of ego or something like that, perhaps. I'm not saying, I'm just as an example, they're perhaps coming from a place of ego now. They're expecting to perform because they did before, because they have the memory of it, so there's the experience. So now they're expecting to perform, but they don't because their belief system is different. They've changed the way they look at their business. So this is another thing that really, in my experience and my knowledge and my understanding, is that beliefs are so important for your fire to be ignited. You have to have a belief for something.
Yeah.
It's imperative. If you don't have a belief in something, like Simon Sinek says, what's your why? Okay, we've heard that so many times over the last few years, and because it's relevant and it's real. Is what is your why? That gives you a belief about something that lights that fire within you. When you start to really believe that you can run 9.58 seconds, which is, by the way, the 100-meter world record. When you start to believe you can do that, then it becomes possible for you. It's like the same as Roger Bannister. Nobody believed he could run this pace at which he did, and when he did it, how much action was taken thereafter? How many people's hearts and guts were lit up with fire because they knew that they could now run that fast because he did it. And within the first year, I think it was 30-something other people broke that 2-minute mile.
Yeah, I know. It was quite
a significant number. Yeah.
Yeah.
But before, people said that it was impossible, physically impossible. Man can never run that fast for that distance. And this is about a belief now. So belief is, man, if you can lock down a belief for yourself or a belief system that inspires you and drives you, hold on to that and keep moving with that.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I've got a little thing here. It says, when your inner fire burns brighter than your doubts or fears, criticism or judgment, you have a secret source of energy to sustain you. So we all want to ignite our inner fire, okay? But the percentages drop down to quite low levels, believe it or not, if you think about keeping it going. Would you agree with that?
If you think about keeping it going.
Well, no, people want to keep it going, but most people don't. That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry.
Okay.
So if you want to, what can people do to keep it going?
Mm-hmm. To keep that fire lit.
Yeah. What can they do? What would you?
What do I do?
What do you do? Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, look, I have a tool that I learned from one of my teachers, Paul. You know who it is, and they talk about a definite major purpose in your life. And for me, being in network marketing or MLM or whatever you want to call it, I've had a burning desire for what I want to achieve in the industry, not from like ranking or anything like that. That doesn't. But from the industry, I wanted what I can create from that. but I never really wrote it down. I had this nice flowery picture around about what I wanted to look like, but I never really wrote it down until I started to do my definite major purpose. And then when I got down to the meat and bones of why, all right, which is to be part of creating 10 millionaires and be able to change countless people's lives through what we do, then, or not countless, but thousands of people's lives through what we do, hopefully hundreds of thousands, then I really started to have that belief that this is for me and I can do this now. When I worked on creating my definite major purpose towards my life and my business and everything, what else I do, my healing and all that, it just started to change the game for me completely. And then it's about repeating that to myself every day. If I have a picture in my head, I have a clear picture in my head, and whenever I have a spare moment, I go back to that picture and I hold that picture in my full vision, in front of my third eye, and I'm just visualizing that picture, and that helps me keep my fire lit. Otherwise, there's so many distractions around, and I don't want to make it complicated for myself. I want to keep it as efficient, as simple as possible. So now I have a picture in my head with that vision in place, and that inspires me. But it's working on my definite major purpose that really put it down and working over and over and over again on it. So,
well, the book it originates from is Think and Grow Rich, isn't it? So
originally, with Napoleon Hill, correct.
Yeah, and that's and he calls it definiteness of purpose.
Definiteness of purpose, true.
Yeah, I've read it so many times, But
the thing is, and this is another thing about it, is that people look for inspiration and how to light their fire from books and people speaking on cameras and on stages and on audios and YouTube and here and there. That people look for that inspiration from others. But inspiration is like, as the great Jim Rohn used to say, it's like motivation is like brushing your teeth. You do it every day. And it's the same with inspiration and having that fire lit within inside of you. You've got to do it every day to maintain it. It's something that has to become part of who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, look, for me, it's about the actions I take, but who I listen to, and who I follow, what I watch. And what I actually do, and I think that the people you surround yourself with is so important, and it's very easy to be surrounded by the wrong people, and sometimes it's a bit insidious because these people crawl up on you, a bit like insects, and you don't even know that you're allowing yourself to be affected by them, But we all need, to keep the flame going, we've all got to rekindle it at some stage. All right. Mm-hmm. You keep, I use personal development to do that, actually. But you also need to feed it. And that's, again, personal development will do that, and some of the actions you can take. If you're being consistent enough, which we all need to work on all the time, then things look much, much better. If you're not doing anything, if you're spending some periods of time when you're not actually doing anything, then you lose the connection between your inner fire and what's really happening. You have to guard your mind. You have to guard the fire, as it is in this case. I think that's important, and you got to tend to your garden. Whatever it is, they talk about the weeds. How far in will the weeds come, as Jim Rohn said? They'll come in all the way if you don't tend to your garden.
Yeah, they all do. Yeah.
Oh, and the weeds is all negative stuff, and it will strangle you if you let it. So it's important if you want to ignite your fire and keep it going. Then there's certain things I would suggest that you do. Again, we're all adults here, so we can make our own decisions. But I can tell you, from 40 years in this business, that over 40 years actually. I think I'm my 42nd year at the moment.
Wow.
So
That tells you how long he's been on this planet for.
No, it doesn't. I wish you did. It doesn't. You start thinking in the right way, but try and get close to it. But yeah, but it's important. So if you need any help, if you want help igniting your fire, okay, in a business sense or sports sense, or rekindling it, or knowing how to tend to your fire, then give us a shout, and we'll always be prepared to help you.
Yes, definitely.
So we've done 30 minutes. Is there anything you want to say at all, Warren?
I think I'm done. Thank you. I think I've said my piece.
Well, you know, at successcafe.tv, what we'd like to say is that please show the love. If you've enjoyed what we've done, please like the video, like the page, like, you know, and anything else you can get your hands on. Comment, and we'll also, you know, speak to you. And if we can answer any questions for you, then great. So with that, I'm going to say au revoir.
Au revoir.
Yeah. And we will see you next Wednesday.
Indeed, we shall.
Yes. So
have a great week, everybody.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul.
Cheers, Warren. See you later.
Enjoy
Bye, everyone.
that.